Morning, everybody. If I look a bit out of sorts, it's because I am. Most of you already know that for the entire month of November so far, dengue has made my life a literal living hell. With 5 of my family members, including all 3 of my children so far, contracting dengue. My 3 children have been admitted. 2 of them admitted. My youngest for 5 days. My daughter, which is my middle child, for 7 days. And now my eldest, who is due to turn 18 on Wednesday, has been admitted with dengue and Zika. He also tested positive for Zika since Friday. No, Thursday, since Thursday. My entire life turned upside down, literally. No, my children were all admitted because their platelet counts were ridiculously low. I put on a piece of cowballing already this morning because my son called me from the hospital. He's on the adult male ward. With my children I could stay. I basically moved into the hospital with the younger ones because on PD ward the parents can stay. But my child, being that he'll be 18 in a few days, is considered an adult, and he's on the adult male ward with strict visitation policies. So I can't be there with him all the time, which is freaking me out because most people know that I'm very overprotective where my children are concerned. But that overprotection that I have towards my children is what more than likely save them life, especially my oldest life. Because he called me this morning saying that the doctors, based on the blood test that he did yesterday, his platelets are down to 18,000. The blood platelets are what makes the blood clot. Alright, you know you have different cells in the blood. The platelets make the blood clot. So when your platelets are low, the chances of you bleeding to death is very high. The normal blood platelet count is supposed to be between 150,000 to 450,000 or something like that. I'm not a doctor, but when you're interested in your children's well-being, you learn all of these things to ensure that you know what needs to be normal for them to be discharged. So I learned a lot when my younger ones were admitted. My daughter, her lowest platelets count was 43,000. Now my son, he was admitted with a platelet count of 51,000 and it has now dropped to 18,000. Remember, the normal platelet count now is supposed to be 150, right? So his is now 18,000. They're gonna repeat the test and he may need a transfusion if it is necessary. So I'm very concerned. My issue is this. Suppose I never carry my children to the hospital. Suppose as a mother, I didn't know the science and I have paramedical training. Me's a physiotherapist. I'm in the field. So I'm a little bit more paranoid than other parents where symptoms are concerned. And when I took my son to the hospital, he did not have a fever. The fever did gone. But he was in pain. He was in a lot of pain. He was in a lot of stomach pain. They actually thought that he had an acute abdomen, meaning that something was wrong with his belly, like seriously wrong with one of his organs. And when they did an ultrasound, they realized that his spleen is enlarged, which is another symptom of the disease. So that's why he was in so much abdominal pain. But I'm saying to you, how many people out there, and that's my main purpose for doing this video while I'm on my way to Sean Douglas at the hospital. But I'm saying, how many people ignore the symptoms in their children to their own peril? How many people, how many children have died of this disease and nobody knows? Now, they see the dengue titer test where them do in the hospital, it take a while to come back and it is not the most reliable test. Right? Because I remember from when I had dengue back in 1996 as a teenager. In 1996 I was 16, I was in 5th form. And I had dengue. And at that time the test came back negative when they did it initially. Is like way after they did, when they repeated the test, it actually came up positive. But a lot of people don't know them have dengue, and there are a lot of doctors out there seeing, private doctors seeing patients with these symptoms and don't know that they have dengue. Because I remember when my nephew came home with the symptoms first, he was given antibiotics, right? He was given antibiotics. Thank God the doctor never give him cataflam for him fever or something like that, or one of those non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like cataflam, Voltaren, anything with name diclofenac, aspirin, anything like that. You don't want to take that when you have dengue or any symptoms like that. Let me just talk about the symptoms of dengue. A very, very high fever, and there is this trademark headache. Most people get this very, very bad, mind-boggling headache where them don't know where it come from. Pain behind the eyes, they call that retroorbital pain. Like your eyes feel like they want to explode or pop out, or as my son said, they're burning, right? Muscle pain, like pain all over. My son's very first symptom was his knee. He had a bad knee from football when he was a child, and that just started hurt him out of the blue. He start having pains from old injuries. All right, that was his very, very first symptom, and I didn't connect that to the dengue at first, but afterwards he started feeling that from last week Friday, and by Sunday he was full blown out. He had a fever, a very, very high fever. My daughter's fever reached 39.8, which is about 104.5 if you calculate it, right? My youngest, that's everybody who know my children, his fever ended up at 103.8, and I'm talking about the measurements in the hospital. When I took Sean Douglas in, his fever had already broken because I had given him a lot of papaya leaf juice. But the bottom line is, even when we think we're using the home remedies, they may help with the symptoms, but when your children have, and this is why I'm doing this video, because I want people to be aware. There needs to be more of an awareness, especially when your children have comorbidities, other diseases. My son, the eldest, who is now very, very sick, he has asthma, bad asthma. And when you have children who have anything, sickle cell disease, asthma, any of these other conditions that naturally weaken them, you need to be extra careful with this dengue, because this dengue is a killer, right? When you take if you're not sure, once you see that high fever come, even if you, I thought when that high fever came on, I didn't even think about pediatrician. Honestly, to me, pediatrician, they come in like for some little private pediatricians, that is. I didn't even think along the lines of private pediatrician. The first thing I did was contacted a friend of mine who works at the emergency room, because that is where my mind was. But even if you're gonna take your child to the pediatrician, please always bear in mind that dengue is a significant possibility. And incidentally, when my two children were admitted on the ward, their pediatrician came there because she had sent another child to the ward for admission, and she told me that she was seeing a lot of cases of dengue. She had basically sent another child up there for admission, you know. And another thing is that Zika is also on the rise. My son has basically, he's tested positive for Zika. The dengue test take long, dengue take days. They're treating him as a co-infection because his siblings had tested positive for dengue, and now he has tested positive for Zika, and he has the dengue symptoms. You understand? So quite possibly what he's having is a co-infection. We're not sure, but one thing we do know is that him have all the symptoms of dengue, but him test positive for Zika. So I don't know. I must commend the staff of UA, University Hospital, in terms of the management of my son, because they were right. Them, trust me, them thing turn up. UA on a thing turn up. Well done. I'm very impressed by how they have managed him, in terms of, from him go up there, they isolated him, them spray him. The first thing them do is come with mosquito repellent and spray him. They educated me. They advised me as his mother to not stay in the isolation room with him for fear of me contracting dengue. I told them that me not left him. Even if it a go kill me, me not left my picnic. So I stayed. I recorded that video 6 weeks ago. Good night, family. This is your girl, the Ripe Mango, yet again, and I'm here to talk to you about the dengue fever epidemic. Just today, the government has declared that dengue is indeed an epidemic. I've been saying this for the last 2 months to 3 months. Even before, my 3 children were infected by dengue to the point where they were all admitted to the hospital, 2 simultaneously, 1 a few days after. I had said that we are having an issue with dengue based on the fact that I work at a health facility and I saw the numbers. So my 3 children had it. I nearly lost my son, my eldest child, to dengue, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm not impressed by the government's reaction to dengue. They've been too reactionary, and I feel that a lot of disaster that has happened because of dengue could have been prevented. I'm hearing the ministry saying that there are 7 dengue related deaths in 2018. I personally know of 10 dengue deaths at Children's Hospital in December alone. I know of dengue deaths in St. Anne's Bay, at St. Anne's Bay Hospital. I know of a dengue death at Port Maria Hospital. So the whole response has been sadly wanting, and I still want more done because I don't think enough is being done, and I think the cases are being underreported and the ministry is not acting fast enough to let people know. If when me did talk say dengue is a problem, even before me did do that video there, because before I did that video I've been talking about it on my post, and if the government had acted when the first hint of dengue came up, when I was on Beyond the Headlines talking about it, when I was on Nationwide News talking about it, instead of trying to play PR with it, we would have been so much further ahead. Because we keep hearing that it's not an epidemic, it's a spike. It's not an outbreak, it's a spike. When really and truly, they should have been treating it like an outbreak, because once they see the numbers trending up, they know that it's just a matter of time, and they know how it is with underreporting. Why are we making and repeating mistakes that we've done before? Look at Chick V. Let me tell you something. Dengue make Chick V look like a walking at a park. I had Chick V and I had dengue, so I'm speaking from experience. I had dengue twice, I had Chick V, I had Zika. I got through all of them, and I saw dengue nearly kill me picnic them. My picnic them did have Chick V too. So I am telling you, dengue make Chick V look like a walking at the park. And look at the devastation that Chick V caused. But I will say this, prevention is better than cure. I can tell you that. If you get sick, not try and medicate yourself. The only thing I want you to take if you get sick is Panadol. Not try to take none else. Panadol or Cetamol. Dengue reacts severe. Dengue have a wicked reaction to certain medications, and if you're not a medical person, don't try to experiment and take any mix up. If you have a unbearable pain, go on a doctor. If you have belly ache, go on a doctor. If you have vomit, go on a doctor. Don't play with dengue. It kill you like in a heartbeat. If you're bleeding, if you have bleeding gums, if you're bleeding through your nose, go on a doctor. Do not play with dengue. Don't play with your life. I'm just warning you, because I believe that a lot more people have died from this than we can't even fathom. Some people are dropped dead. I want to know what killing them. Chances are it's this dengue that is going around. It's no plaything. It is no plaything. And I can only hope now that the ministry has finally admitted that we are indeed in the middle of an epidemic, that they can actually do some meaningful prevention and get rid of the mosquito breeding sites. And you know, for those people who are claiming that mosquito breed in a dirty yard and whatever, they obviously don't know the Aedes aegypti mosquito. The Aedes aegypti mosquito is a domesticated animal, really. It is domesticated, right? It lives in clean water. If you water your flowers and the flowers part of the water catchment plate, Aedes aegypti will breed in it. If you live anywhere in the vicinity of a gully and that gully have any crack in it and rainfall and water back up in there, chances are Aedes aegypti is breeding in there. And that is the thing, because mosquitoes travel. So your yard might be clean and free of everything that can catch water, but your neighbor, or not even your neighbor, but somebody will live down the road from you, might have things in his or her house that store water. So it's not just about you, it's your neighborhood, even the gully. Because my children didn't catch dengue from me. They caught at my house. They caught it from my parents' house. And my parents live in Ligonive, and there's a gully that runs through. And that gully, I'm certain that it has something to do with that gully why so many people in my parents' community have dengue. You understand? So all I can say is it has to be a national effort to eradicate the Aedes aegypti. And you really can't ever eradicate, but that mosquito there, one dangerous mosquito, it causes everything. It is literally a plague. So again, just to remind you where dengue is concerned, if you have this eye fever that don't break, go on a doctor. If you're vomiting, go on a doctor. If your eye them are hurt you, go on a doctor. If your belly are hurt you, especially when combined with all of those things, especially after the period, the fever break, go on a doctor. My son's spleen nearly explode because of dengue. Dengue have some serious complications, some life-threatening complications. When me sit down, when me see my people them suffer, I sit down and I watch it, I'm a ball, live in eye water. I tell you, I kid you not. Anyway, that's all I will say now. But just be careful out there, my family. Love and blessings. Take care.